A former local school superintendent will spend 2 years in federal prison for embezzlement. A federal judge sentenced Gary Rye this morning. Rye will report to jail in June. Local 12's Joe Webb joins us live with why the punishment wasn't enough for some people in court today. Joe.
Well, Curtis, Gary Rye has paid back all the money he stole from Dayton, and in court today he publicly apologized for what he did, but it wasn't enough to keep the judge from handing down the maximum sentence or to satisfy the crowd who'd gathered in court. Hand in hand with his wife Pam, Gary Rye walked into federal court this morning not knowing what his fate would be. About 30 people with ties to the Dayton schools took up most of the seats in the courtroom. It's been 13 months since State Auditor Adam Edelen detailed Gary Rye's embezzlement scheme that bilked Dayton schools of more than $200,000. Rye has paid it back and in court today apologized to his family and to the school board.
We would have liked to hear him apologize to the students of Dayton, but that didn't happen. He needed to apologize to the students because that's who he really hurt, the students.
Judge Bunning agreed that the damage done to Dayton schools was, in his words, profound. Rye's attorneys argued for probation, but the judge said justice dictated incarceration, and he sentenced Gary Rye to 2 years in prison. It was the maximum sentence under federal guidelines. The Dayton crowd claimed a victory, but felt little cause to celebrate.
We will never have restitution. What's done is done, and it can never be made up for. But I'm glad it's over.
I think closure is great. It's time to move on. We're in the education business, and lessons have certainly been learned through this. So this is a great example for our kids. Do the right thing.
Gary Rye and his attorney had nothing to say as they were leaving the courthouse. Rye will report to federal prison at 2 p.m. on June 2nd. He's requested that he be locked up at either the prison in Montgomery, Alabama, or the one in Pensacola, Florida. Now, Gary Rye drove away from the federal courthouse here in Covington in his Chevy Tahoe. Observers say that's the same vehicle he drove away the day he left his job in Dayton after filling it up with $100 worth of gas from the school district's credit card. Regardless of the scandal, Dayton schools have enjoyed higher test scores. They've gone up in the last year since Gary Rye left. Judge Bunning in court said that he did not think that was a coincidence. Reporting live in Covington, I'm Joe Webb, Local 12 News. Curtis?
Joe, thank you. As part of the settlement of the lawsuit the school filed against him, Gary Rye agreed to pay Dayton $473,000 over the next several years. The school's auditor, who missed the embezzlement, agreed to pay the school system $38,000.